Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about breakfast, which is a meal that I've skipped for the last 7 years, just about, or more. Until the last month I started eating breakfast again. The reason being is all this. The reason I skipped breakfast was because I came across all the biohacker science years ago, which touted intermittent fasting as a potent anti-aging health practice. And based on how much I've aged in the last 7 years, I don't think it works. So now I'm eating breakfast. And yeah, in my experience, it has a pro-aging effect. And after researching Ayurveda and Chinese medicine eating windows, I got an idea as to why it might have a pro-aging effect. And a pro-hair loss or hair aging effect or something like that. But really, vitality and hair are tied together. Your hair is a reflection of your vitality. So anything that improves your vitality is going to improve your hair, and that's what these eating windows in the ancient philosophies do, or aim at, improving vitality. And they're pretty much aligned, very similarly aligned. And we go over the comparison. So in Ayurveda, which is the medical branch of Vedic philosophy, which is the ancient Veda scriptures that modern Hinduism is based on. Really interesting stuff. So think India, I think I said in this last video, like India around 7000 BC, they came up with this stuff, and it's pretty good. So anyway, 7 to 8 is the optimal breakfast time. You want to eat from 7. You want to eat a morning meal, and the reason being is that it grounds vata, which is the air element, which is what I have too much of, which is what you probably have too much too if you have a lot of hair shedding or you have male pattern baldness. Because vata is the dosha. There are 3 doshas. I went over this in the last video. I'm not going to go over it again, but it's a particular energy pattern of air ether where the emphasis is on movement of the air and the spaciousness, emptiness of the ether. So with this energy pattern, there's a lot of tendency to develop anxiety, like restlessness, too much movement, and not enough grounding of the energy. And that leads too much movement manifests as hair shedding, too much movement in the hair, too much dryness, ungrounded by the oiliness. So dry, shedding hair is a common feature of vata types. So anyway, eating grounds vata. It fills the stomach, the emptiness inside you, with food. So it helps with emotional stability, which is part of the chain of events that I think ultimately results in skull expansion and male pattern baldness. The other thing it does is it pacifies the fire element. So the other part about male pattern baldness is that there's this male imbalance, too much fire relative to water. And pitta is the fire-water element balance. So if you don't eat in the morning, what happens is that digestive fire turns inward and creates more heat. It burns your stomach, but also just generates heat in your body. So it aggravates any pitta fire imbalance that you already have or might have, or creates one if you don't have it. And then the third thing it does is build ojas, which is like the vital essence of in Ayurveda, and it derives from like refined digestive essence. They're all about digestion in Ayurveda, which I'm learning quickly. I'm not as fluent in it as I am in Chinese medicine, which I'm not that fluent in either, but more so in Ayurveda. But it seems to be all about digestion. This thing called Agni, Agni. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but you want to have a robust Agni. Otherwise, it creates metabolic toxins, which interfere with all sorts of biological processes and interferes with the flow of life force. All right. So eating does all 3 things, which are good for hair, like ojas. Vitality, you want to build that because the more vitality, the better your hair smells. Hair is a reflection of vitality. So eating hits all 3 things that you want to address with hair loss in Vedic philosophy. Ground your vata, pacify your pitta fire, and then build your vitality. And really, you just want to do that overall. Like, it's just good. You don't want to be emotionally imbalanced or have like really bad acid reflux, and then have depleted vitality. Like that's no way to live. So breakfast, most important meal of the day, perhaps. although in Ayurveda it's more like lunch, but you have to eat breakfast to have a robust digestion for lunch. That's next. So if you skip breakfast, then you'll have emotional instability. It'll aggravate vata. You'll get anxious, nervous, and just kind of feel energy-wise kind of scattered and not able to focus, unstable. The digestive fire turns in. It'll aggravate pit of fire, create all sorts of heat conditions, and then it weakens your agni, your digestive fire for lunch, which is their main meal. When it's at digestive fire is at its peak, so you want to kindle it without overwhelming it at breakfast in Ayurveda. So you have a medium-sized meal, and the types of food you eat are like grains and like porridges and cooked nuts and seeds. You could have warm grains, warm foods, some cooked fruits that are more on the sweet side. That's Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, because sour fruits are kind of problematic for pitta fire types, which extends really to hair loss. Let's go to Chinese medicine. So one more thing before I move on to Chinese medicine. Ayurveda, you want to eat by 8, because I don't think it's a hard cutoff, but like the more you push it towards 8:30, that's when so you're in the kapha period, which is the sluggishness time. And if you wait too late to eat towards 8:30 and 9, then you're going to put food in your system at a sluggish time, and then you're just going to feel sluggish. So you want to get in before the peak sluggishness of the vata period, which happens around 8:30. Otherwise, it just has negative energetic effects in your body. And this is not addressed in Chinese medicine, which says anytime 7 to 9 you're good. And the reason is that that's the peak stomach time. So every organ has a 2-hour block during the day where it's at its peak, where it has maximum chi flowing through it, and the stomach is 7 to 9, so maximum stomach chi, maximum chi to break down food. So you want to eat a big meal, a substantial meal in that period, so that your stomach has the energy to break it down. The best time to break down energy or food into energy for your body. And then the other thing is from 9 to 11, that's the spleen peak time. So now the chi's in the spleen, and the spleen is what extracts the chi from the food, the life force from the food. And that goes into blood, and that becomes chi, and goes down to the kidneys and becomes essence, and adds to your vitality, or goes to your pooled vital essence. So it's going to improve your vitality to have food in your stomach for the chi, for the spleen to digest. You're going to get maximum chi, maximum blood for the day, because a lot of that food gets immediately transformed into blood with the heart and lungs. The lungs, the chi from the air from the lungs mixed with the spleen chi from the food digested, and goes right into the heart, becomes workable blood, and the rest goes to the kidney, and the kidney also forms the basis of blood. So it's all related. Anyway, you want food in your stomach for the chi, for the spleen to break down into chi. And then if you don't eat breakfast, you skip. If you do intermittent fasting, I'm just going to skip breakfast. I'll do the 8-hour window from 12 to 8, and then I'll get all that autophagy benefit and the ketosis. All that's bullcrap. Okay, I can attest it. Didn't help me at all. I can do it. I'm strong enough to do it, but I feel like it just didn't work. I don't know if it weakened me, but it didn't do anything good for me. So it might as well I don't know if it's bullcrap, but I just assume that it is. I'm into all this. This is what I'm going with now. And maybe this doesn't work. Maybe I'll change my mind in 7 years. But for now, I'm trying something completely different than alternative science, biohacker stuff with the intermittent fasting or whatever. All right, so if you don't eat a breakfast like I did, 7 years, then that'll weaken your spleen chi. So that's going to weaken your digestion, weaken the ability of the spleen, like the next day and the following day, to get food from or get chi from the food. And then because the spleen is so intricately involved in the production of chi and blood, you will deplete your blood, deplete your chi, and deplete your essence, because very little of that chi is getting down to the kidneys, and that's not good for hair. It's not good for your hair if you have a blood deficiency or a qi deficiency, because blood and qi both grow hair. And it's not good to be depleted in essence, because that's your vitality, and that's going to reflect in your hair. All right, so bad for hair, bad overall for you. And then it's going to weaken your digestive fire, just like in Ayurveda. And again, it's going to aggravate Vata. Not that Vata is a thing or an explicit thing in Chinese medicine, but it's going to scatter the qi. It's going to scatter the energy, make the energy unstable. It's going to cause anxiety, probably because it's the spleen's pathogenic emotion is overthinking and worry. So any sort of anxiety, which actually affects the lungs too, is going to really, spleen and lungs, anxiety, nervousness, instability. That's all going to affect. That's going to affect the spleen and the lungs, which are the qi generators in your body. So it's going to scatter your energy, unstable life force energy, which is not good for anything, including hair. And then so in Chinese medicine, you eat a heavy meal because of the maximum stomach qi and the maximum spleen qi ability to digest food. And same sort of thing, eat porridges, warm. So you want to emphasize warm foods because the spleen doesn't like cold stuff. Spleen. So foods that the spleen likes: porridges, cooked fruits. Avoid cold foods, raw foods, like yogurt. It's like really cold. You have to be careful with that. Either warm it up or avoid eating it. Just eat it at lunch. It might be okay once in a while, but avoid either cold thermal temperature and cold energetic temperature. And yogurt is both. So you got to be careful with it. In Chinese medicine, they like sweet foods, and sweet's also good for aggravated vata in Ayurveda. So sweet fruits, like it's better to have, instead of berries, it's better to have pears or mangoes. But berries are in season right now, so I'm going with the berries and waiting for pear season, then I'll switch. It's also mango season, so you want to eat mango. That's a good one. That's really good. That's a sweet fruit. But pretty much the same meal. Maybe more so proteins in Chinese medicine, like lighter proteins. Both like good fats like ghee, coconut oil, even animal fats, like just the actual fat, like the body fat, is okay. At least in Chinese medicine, they emphasize more of the animal fat, as opposed to Ayurveda. It's more like ghee. Ghee is life. Ghee is really good for Vata and Pitta, so that's like a primary food recommended in Ayurveda for every meal. And that's pretty much it. So the next video I'll do lunch and then dinner. They're both kind of the same in both philosophies. Pretty interesting stuff that I'll go over then. And then I'm going to have a lot of this stuff on my website eventually, but it's not there yet. If you want to check it out, I got a lot of good information about changing soul shape. If you want to check that out, it's www. That website does not start with www. It's hairlossalchemy.com. I guess I'll put a link in the description. So that's it. Yeah, that's long enough. Like 15 minutes.